Hold on, this bullet is still shouting.
I'm back now. Hopefully, we can do this time around and everything works out well. So, like I said, today is the fourth episode of the AFCON Diaries, and today's guest is none other than Mr. George Abbey. I'm going to send him. At 2004 AFCON, and that was the tournament for a generation of us. I grew up watching that tournament. And Mr. George Abbey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Maybe we should just get the show on the road. I can't see you at the moment, but every other person can see both of us. So maybe we could just go on with the interview then.
I can see you. I can see myself on the split screen.
Wonderful. I can't on my phone, sadly. I don't know why. But since every other person can see us and you can see us, I think we should start.
Okay.
All right. It's a pleasure having you, sir. I grew up watching you. Grew up watching you in 2004. That was like my first AFCON tournament that I actually started from the beginning. I can remember everything that happened from the beginning to the very end. And you were the right back for me. And yes, I started watching Nigerian team with Yubo as right back, but he eventually converted to the center half, and you became the right back in that tournament. I don't know what your memories are of Nigerian football growing up, but just give us a breakdown of who George Abbey really is, how his career started, and your memories of the AFCON when you were growing up.
Well, like I've said in previous interviews, myself and Joseph Yobo, we grew up on the streets of Port Harcourt. You know, we started playing the same grassroots football, under 10s, under 13s. We eventually moved on to Michelin, an amateur team in Port Harcourt. And then within a year, I moved on to sign for Sharks of Port Harcourt. And for me at the time, it was a dream come true for me because Sharks of Port Harcourt was my boyhood team. So the same way youngsters follow, you know, the bigger teams now all over Europe, Sharks for me was my team. You know, so
Okay.
to put pen to paper and sign for Sharks was like the highlight of my career at that time. You know, and then I was playing with players that I looked up to. The likes of Imama, Amapa, you know, we had Mapofu there. We had Blessing Kaku, you know, senior players in the team who helped us along. I finally made my debut. I even went on to captain Sharks in one of our games against our bitter rivals, Eagle Cement at the time, which later changed to Dolphins.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the highlight of my career to captain my boyhood team as well. And then after a year, I moved on to Macclesfield. And I know Joseph Yobo at similar time. The next year, I think he moved to Standard Liège in Belgium. So Joseph never played in the Nigerian league, whereas I played 1 year in the Nigerian league before I moved on to Macclesfield in England.
Okay. Okay. Now let's cast our minds to 2000, to your debut actually, 2003, which is about 20 years ago now. In that game against Ghana at the LG Cup, what was your feeling? How did you feel making your debut in that game? Because I remember the feedback from that game was there were fans who were chanting at the Abuja Stadium, Oyibo, Oyibo, Oyibo at the time.
Yeah, it was a surreal experience for me. You know, I really enjoyed having the opportunity to play for Nigeria. You know, when I was growing up as a young boy in Nigeria, I never even thought about playing for the senior national team. You know, I just played football as a hobby. I enjoyed playing with my friends. So when the opportunity came up to play for Nigeria, I couldn't believe it at first. I thought, you know, it was a prank or something. Not until we turned up at the Hilton Hotel in Abuja, it finally dawned on me that this was reality. It was real. When I saw the other players, you know, the likes of Yakubu was there, Sheyo Afinjana, and the likes. They were, I think Vincent Yama was there as well. You know, when I saw all these players, and then I finally believed it was real. And then to make my debut, like you say, against Ghana in front of the Abuja crowd was an amazing experience for me, and one that I really enjoyed and I cherish for the rest of my life, because not only did I have a good game, the ovation and the appreciation from the fans who welcomed me was amazing. And I think that set me up then and gave me the confidence to go on and play the rest of the games I played for the national team.
And I remember you nearly scored a free kick in that game. I remember reading about it, even though I wasn't live at the stadium then.
Yes, yes. I think I took a free kick and the goalkeeper saved it. It was a rebound and Yakubu scored off the rebound. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, for me to even have the opportunity to be taking free kicks on my debut where there's other senior players around, and for the players to trust me enough to allow me to take free kicks, it was just a measure of the players we had in the team at that time who gave me the opportunity, trusted me to take a free kick on my debut. So, you know, I really appreciated their support at the time, and that filled me with confidence to go through that game. And like you say, I had an amazing game, which I was really proud of my performance.
And I remember you also won the trophy. Not bad after 2 games.
Yes, yes. I think we played Cameroon in the final in Lagos. It was a rainy day. I remember the pitch was waterlogged. We were surprised the game even went ahead. But on the LG Cup, like you say, in my debut tournament for Nigeria, I picked up a gold, not the gold for the AFCON we wanted, but nevertheless, a good victory to start off my international career with the national team.
Okay. During the preparation, how was the preparation like for the 2004 AFCON, which is the center of our topic, actually, conversation, actually? What was the preparation like in Faro and all of that? What was it like, actually? Was it like the first time you also met Peter Odewingie as your teammate?
Yeah, I think that was the first time I met so many players. There was some home-based players there. Pastor West was there at the time, Taribo West, even though he never made the final squad to the AFCON in 2004. It was a privilege, you know, to train with someone like Taribo West, who is a legend and someone we all looked up to. So having the likes of Taribo West, Celestine Babayaro, you know, the senior players there, we had Pius Ikedia, we had, you know, a lot of good quality players. So to be training with those players was a really good experience for me. The camp was really good atmosphere, good team spirit. In fact, I shared a room with Garibal Lawal because I shared a room with Garibal Lawal. He was really supportive, a senior player in the team at the time. Really gentle guy, someone who gave the younger players a lot of advice. And the training sessions were really amazing, intense, because everyone was fighting for their spots to make the final squad for the AFCON. So I think overall it was a good campaign experience and a good preparation for that AFCON in 2004.
And when you met Peter Odewingie, I know you guys are cool outside football and all of that, but when you met him the first time, did you guys just click the first moment, or it took a while before you guys like became close?
No, I think we got on straight away. You know, when you're young players, you're new to the team as well, you always gravitate towards someone like that because you've got something in common with that person. You're trying to find your way to the team to try to cement your place. And we've got similar personalities. He likes a laugh and a dance. You know, we like our Afrobeat music together and everything. So we kind of bonded straight away, and we've remained friends ever since.
Okay. When we lost the opener against Morocco, were there doubts in your mind that, okay, I don't think we could go so far in this tournament, considering the manner at which we even considered the goal?
Not at all. You know, the belief in the squad was there right from the start. You know, even after we lost that game, it was like a culture shock. No one saw that result coming. No one expected us to lose to Morocco. No disrespect to them. I think we were a better team. We had a better squad. So to lose that game was disappointing, but it was one we quickly put behind us because we knew the quality in the team, like I said, and we knew in the next game we were going to bounce back against South Africa.
Okay. Now, we all know the episode of the whole players who were expelled from the camp, or should I say sent off from the camp. When that decision was made by the FA, how was the team morale? How was the camp like? What were the other 20 players thinking? What was the extent at which the morale of the team was affected?
Yeah, first of all, it was disappointing. You know, it was disappointing to lose 3 of our colleagues. three experienced players, three quality players to add to that. When you take away the firepower of Yakubu and Agali, and then the experience and the quality defending of Babayaro, that would affect the team. And we're a family. So when we lost those three players, it affected us, it affected the team morale. But as professionals, you've got a job to do. You know, as soon as they left the camp, we knew we had to step up and do what we needed to do, what was required of us. The entire nation was waiting and expecting us to make them proud, to deliver. So yes, it was disappointing to lose those three players, but we quickly regrouped and faced the challenge that was in front of us.
Okay, and after that episode, where there was this game, that wonderful game against South Africa, and then the game against Benin Republic, there was this swag about the team actually. So, what do you think was the difference that we saw in those two games that we didn't quite see against Morocco?
I think time you get a setback, there's a chance for you to regroup and step up again. So that defeat was like a wake-up call for us. And we had a discussion amongst ourselves, and we knew we had to do better than we did against Morocco. And that's where our quality came through, the desire and the passion to go and deliver and make our nation proud. So the quality in the team was never in doubt. It was a case of bringing our A game and delivering on the pitch.
Okay. Now let's go to the quarterfinal game. I think that I don't know how you guys saw it then. I don't know the kind of information or news you guys were getting then in camp. But for some of us, when we knew that we're playing Cameroon and we're going to wear white, there's this superstition we attached to the white kit that we don't normally win with the white kit, especially against Cameroon. Because if you can remember, the 3 defeats we've had against Cameroon in the finals were when we were wearing our white kits. So there was this superstition ahead of that game. I don't know if you heard of that part. Then even the game itself, did Christian Chukwu in any way give a history lesson to serve as like the catalyst for us winning that game?
No, I think he did mention the fact that we didn't have a brilliant record against Cameroon, and they were like a rival to the Super Eagles. So we already knew the quality of the Cameroonian team anyway, and we knew it was going to be a tight game. We knew the quality players they had in their team, the likes of Samuel Eto'o, they had Jemba, they had Mboma up front. So they had a solid team as well. And we believed it was a 50-50 game going into that game. We didn't think we were superior, but we still went into the game with belief and confidence, having won the prior 2 games against South Africa and Benin Republic. So we knew the nation was behind us. We knew we had to deliver. It was a game that we had to really dig deep to get a result, because like you remember, they scored first. And anytime you come from behind to win against a quality team, such as the Cameroonian team, you know you had to dig deep and bring out the best in you. So we did that. We delivered the result. And I think, like you said, that game could have easily been the final of the AFCON in 2004, because we were 2 quality teams. And I'm sure the fans would have enjoyed watching that game.
Yeah, and now how important was that JJ Okocha? Because that was like the last kick of the game in that first half actually. And we knew he had already scored like 2 free kicks before he came to camp for Bolton. You trained with him. Did he practice? How often did he practice free kicks even before that game? And when he eventually went in, were you expectant that to go in?
I think when you have a player of the quality of JJ Okocha in your team, then you know at any moment in the game, even the opposition are aware that in any moment at any given time, someone of the caliber of JJ Okocha can produce something out of nothing. So it was a case of we expected him to score or not score. It's a case of sooner or later, our skipper was going to come to the fore and do something in that game to bring us back in the game. So So we trusted him. He wasn't training, practicing in training or nothing like that. No, I never saw him practice free kicks in training. But you can see technical ability he's got in his all-round game. So seeing the ball hit the back of the net wasn't a surprise to us. We were delighted. Like you said, the last kick of the first half brought us back in the game. And then obviously when the ascendancy, then the second half, we had the confidence that we were going to go and win the game.
Interesting. And even after he scored that goal, after scoring that goal, there's a question I wanted to ask now. Skip my mind. Okay, let's go on. Describe the emotions in the semi-final when we played Tunisia. There was the whole event of them. They played a different national anthem. I can remember they played a different national anthem before kickoff. There was this whole sea of noise at the stadium, and there was also the issue of playing the national anthem in the before the start of the second half, as well as the whole penalty shootout, the tension in the atmosphere, and all of that. Just describe the whole emotion that was going through the players on that match day.
I think it was an experience I've never gone through before. It was one of intimidation. I think that was the right word. The fans were trying to intimidate right from when we arrived at the stadium. You know, I remember in the hotel before we left, or the day before the game, if I can remember correctly, John Utaka, who had played in, I think he played in Egypt or Tunisia. He played in the North African, one of those African.
Egypt. Yeah, Egypt.
Yeah, he said to us, he said, be careful because we're staying in a hotel in Tunisia. We're going to be playing against Tunisia. What would stop the Tunisians from, you know, poisoning our food or our drinks? You know, the tricks of the trade to make us fatigued or tired. So we ended up buying, like, I think I remember we bought like chicken and bread from outside of the hotel. So that was like our pre-meal, unconventional. It wasn't planned or nothing because Otaka told us don't trust these people. So that's what we ate: bread and just chicken, just rough style. And then leading to the stadium, I remember they were throwing rocks at our boss, our team boss. Yeah. They were trying to intimidate us. I think one of the glasses got smashed or something. And then like, going to the stadium, the national anthem is not being played. I think they didn't allow our supporters into the stadium. The noise, you know, everything was just basically everything was against us in that game, you know. But like I said, when you've got quality, you've got experience in your team, the calmness, the likes of JJ Kanu, people like that, Yobo, they've played in intimidating atmospheres before. So it was for them to calm the younger ones down and to say, listen, ignore all this noise. I know it's there, but it's still 11 against 11 on the pitch, on the green grass. Let's just play our football and the result will take care of itself. And that's what we did.
There's this picture of you crying on the shoulders of Pius Ikedia after the penalty miss. After the penalty was decided, the penalty shootout was decided. How did you sleep that night? Let me just even ask for that. Me personally, I've always wondered.
Yeah, it was a difficult one. It was so disappointing because we were so close to getting to the final, and I believe we would have had our revenge on Morocco because Morocco eventually got to the final as well. I believe we would have beaten Morocco in the final, but the disappointment. You know, before that tournament, every other time I'd seen players crying on the pitch, I used to say, come on, don't be a little girl. Stop crying, it's only football. But when you're involved and the emotion hits you and you think you're within touching distance, just one kick and it could have swayed our way of a penalty or something, you know, like if our keeper Eyama would have saved one maybe, and then we scored on it, we could have got to the final. That's how close it was. So the disappointment and the whole emotion and everything just got to me, and I just burst out into tears, you know. And then in the hotel, it was just like a ghost town. Usually everyone bouncing up and down, cheering, making jokes. There was none of that. It was just flat. You wouldn't even know there was footballers in the hotel. It was just quiet, somber atmosphere. But we still had to pick ourselves up to go and play the third place game against Mali.
Yeah. Memories. Memories. Okay. Now let's come to the modern times now. We are just under about 10 days to the opening game against Equatorial Guinea. I think I don't need to elaborate how much of a performance our team has been showing in the last few months. But the manager has come under scrutiny. The team is the expectation is not so much on this team to perform at the tournament. But what have you made of our chance? What do you make of our chances? And how far do you think this team can go?
I think, like you said, when you're looking at a team going into a tournament, you want to look at the recent results leading to the tournament. And the results and the way the team has been playing doesn't fill anyone with any confidence. I think when Nigerian fans speak, we speak with hope rather than expectation. Because when Nigeria, we still hold this the same way Manchester United fans feel like we should win because we're Manchester United. It's the same way Nigerian fans feel. We're going to win because we're Nigeria. We're not realistic in terms of look at the recent results. Look at the coach. Look at his background. What was his resume saying? What is the hope? What's the confidence? So for me, every team goes into that tournament thinking they can win. And it's tournament football. You just never know. Right? So you can go in and you win your first game, or you draw the first, win the second, and then you get to the second round, and before you know, you find yourself in the semifinal. And then confidence builds. So the same way people are saying, oh, we don't trust this keeper. He might go in there and be the keeper of the tournament. That's how football is a strange game. Anything can happen. So yes, we're not going to say, oh, he's the best keeper in Africa. Our defense still concerns me because we're not keeping clean sheets. We're not solid enough. So I'm hoping the coaching crew can find a way to make us more solid as a team, and we can create the chances up front and get the goals we need to win the games. But your question, do I think we can win? Yes, I think we can win. But like I said, that's hoping. I'm not expecting us to win this tournament. I hope we can win because we're all Nigerian fans. We want our country to do well. And we have quality going from the striking position. We can score goals. The question is, can we keep goals out at the other end? If we can find that solution and we can do that, then we have every chance to go all the way.
Okay. Aside from Nigeria now, which African team do you look at and say this is like the team that could actually go on and win it all?
For me, I would pick Senegal and the host, Ivory Coast. Senegal is the champions, and when you look at their squad, you know they've got a strong squad all over the pitch, even on their bench. Quality players playing in top leagues, playing for top clubs all around Europe. So Senegal for me, and Ivory Coast, they have quality, and that home advantage sometimes can push a team. So for me, those two teams are the teams I would be wary of.
Not Morocco, not Algeria, possibly, or even Egypt.
I don't think Egypt. I don't think Egypt. I think they rely too much on Mo Salah. And last AFCON, even though they went far, I wasn't convinced with their performances. I think we played them as well. Did we played against Egypt?
We played them.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed. They rely too much on Mo Salah, and if he's having an off day, there's nothing happening in their team. So, no, I wouldn't pick Egypt. They might prove me wrong, but you've asked me my opinion. My two teams I'm picking, if I don't pick Nigeria, would be Senegal and Ivory Coast.
Okay. Now, rate the Super Eagles team in the past and the current Super Eagles team. What is like the clear difference for you?
For me, I think the quality. You can't compare the quality we had in. When you look at our bench, we had at that AFCON. You include the 3 players that got sent. you can't compare. Like there was players who could come on and change the game, players who were performing at a high level, who still couldn't get in the first 11. You know, this team, they've got their abilities, they've got their qualities, but if you're asking me which is a better squad, then our era had better players, in my opinion.
Okay, I want to ask you an offside question now. There was this game we played against Ghana in 2007. I know it's probably sensitive to you at this point, but I have to ask it. There was this game we played against Ghana in 2007 at Griffin Park. That is former home of Brentford, Brentford in the Premier League. We lost 4-1. And that was a game where, I think that was the last time I saw you in the Super Eagles kit. Same thing with Julius Agawa. What happened that evening? And did you think that after that game you will never get a call from the national team again?
Not really. You know, that was a disastrous game from start to finish. The whole team. Like I had a bad game, and sometimes it takes a man to own up to his own responsibilities. Sometimes when you play in a team sport, it's easy to point fingers and blame other people.
Yeah.
Happy with my own personal performance, but I couldn't look around the team and say this guy stood out or that guy played very well. We all had a bad day at the office. It was a bad game. We lost. It was a disaster. But if you're asking me, did I think I would play another game for the Super Eagles after that game? After the Ghana game, my debut, you take nothing for granted. I never thought I would play another game because it's one of them where you play the game that's in front of you. If you get called up, you play that game, and you get called up, you play the next game. And that's why I always advise young players coming into the team, play it like it's your last. Give your all, because there's so many players Nigeria can pick from. So today, you got your chance and your opportunity to play. And the next minute, the coach doesn't fancy you, is picking somebody else. So I never thought it was my last game, but I'm still proud to have played 18 times for Nigeria. It's not an easy achievement to play 18 times for Super Eagles. Some people, some players who have more quality or played at a better level than me only played 5 times for Super Eagles, or 3 or 4. So I'm really proud. It didn't end the way I would have liked, but I started against Ghana, I finished against Ghana. So
interesting. Interesting. And you also had 2 trophies.
Was it 2?
Yeah. The Unity Cup, the LG Cup.
Yeah. Remember the Unity Cup? We played against Ireland at the Charlton Athletic Stadium.
Yeah.
That was a good game. I think that was Obafemi Martin's first game for the national team.
Yes, against Ireland, yes.
Yes, I remember that game. He came from Inter Milan, this young guy bouncing all over the place. And then the Ireland defense couldn't cope with his speed.
True. In 2004, and now we're playing the AFCON in 2024, 20 years apart. I would like you to build your ultimate AFCON 11 from the players you played with in 2004 and this current Super Eagles team.
So you want me to pick an 11?
Yes.
From my teammates and this team?
Yes.
And can I pick myself or no?
No, you can't pick yourself. You are actually the kind of like the coach.
Okay. So I will go for Vincent in goal.
Okay.
No one can argue with that because he's the greatest goalkeeper of all times. I would go for left back. I'm going to go for Ifeanyi Udeze because I played more games with him. I know Babayaro was in that squad and he's a legend, he's a quality player, but I'll go for Ifeanyi Udeze because I spent more time on the pitch with him. Quality player, very aggressive like myself. You know, we like our ginger, power, energy. And then the 2 center-backs will pick themselves, Joseph Yobo and Isaac Okoronkwo. I'm not going to pick any center-backs from this. No disrespect. but there's no way you can replace Isaac and Joseph Yobo. And then right back, I'm going to go and pick Bright from this current team. I think he plays for Fenerbahce.
Osai, Bright Osai.
Yeah. I like him.
Okay.
I like his speed, his ability to get up and down the pitch, full of energy as well. And then in the middle of the park, Sheyol Olafinjana is going to go into my midfield. Strong, yes. Does the dirty job, underappreciated, really solid, amazing teammate. He did a lot of dirty work for us that most people who don't know about football don't see usually. JJ has to be in there. Yeah, you don't leave our skipper out. And then I'm gonna go Otaka. I'm gonna go Saz on the left.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Papilo as a 10.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go and pick Osimhen from this team.
Nice pick.
Yeah, I like his aggression. I mean, to leave out Yakubu, to leave out, Agao, players like that, it's difficult, but I just love Osimhen's attitude. For me, not so much. People judge strikers on their goals. I judge strikers on goals and what they bring to the team. Yeah. Well, he brings so much aggression, pressing from the front. He leads from the front. His mentality is never say die, never give up. The fight is. So Osimhen will go into my team.
Okay. It's an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Mr. George Abbey. Sharing your experience and talking bits about your career. You left so many of us with memories. Me, myself, you left me with a lot of memories. I remember using you and Peter Odewingie as virtual characters and video game characters when I was younger. I play AFCON tournaments, play friendly matches. You will be my right back. Peter Odewingie will be my left winger and all of that. So many great memories of your time while you play for the Super Eagles. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And
because he wants to ask a question. I'm open if anyone wants to ask me a question.
Okay. If anybody wants to ask Mr. Abbey George the question, you can just ask your question, and let's see if he'll be kind enough to reply your questions. Okay, so that note, let me continue for what I was saying.
Okay.
My experience. So I had a lot of good memories while growing up watching you play for the national team, which is why somehow I found it strange after that game against Ghana, you never got the call up. You didn't play. I was expecting you to be in the squad for 2006 AFCON. I don't know if you got injured that period, because I think it was.
I got my invitation because Eguavon was in charge then, and then my coach sabotaged me at Port Vale. He sent the invitation back stating that I was injured, which was false. Wow. And I got a phone call off Eguavon, wishing me a speedy recovery, which I was surprised to receive that phone call. I told him I was never injured, and he said, unfortunately, I'd been replaced in the team. And so it was disappointing for me to miss that 2006 AFCON in Egypt. But, that's football, that's life. You take it on the chin and you move on.
All right, no problem. We don't seem to have... Okay, the question is asking is, how did you get confidence to shout at your coach at the AFCON while he was dribbling? Because many players would be afraid to talk to the captain of the team.
Yeah, I think it's one of them where I've always been self-assured. I've always had the winning mentality. And even though I'm humble off the pitch, I respect people of all walks of life. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your social standing is. I respect everyone. I treat everyone the same. Yes, JJ was a legend, the senior player in the team, our captain. But once we get onto that pitch, no one wants to win more than me. So if I see someone not doing the right thing to benefit the team, I'm going to speak up. I'm not afraid of anybody. I want to win first and foremost. When we leave the pitch, if you want to pull me up and talk to me, that's fine. But when we're on that pitch, I want to win. And it didn't matter if JJ or Saz or somebody else dribbling in front of our 18-yard box. We're 2-1 up. We've got 5 minutes to the end of the game. We're going to go into the semifinals. We take no chances. We take no risks. So from there, if I was a coach, I would want my players to speak up, to communicate. And if they see mates not pulling their weight or not working hard enough, they need to be called up. They need to be pulled up. They need to be spoken to. And that's why this modern generation, they're too scared to pull their teammates up. Senior man. Oh, I don't want to upset someone on the pitch. No, you're there for one reason, to win. If you're going to end up fighting against each other, but at the end of the day, we win for Nigeria, that's what we want. I'm not here to be best friends with anybody. At the moment, JJ Okocha's telephone number is not on my phone. We don't keep in touch. We don't speak. But we were colleagues at that time. And for me, we're going to battle. We wanted to win. So I'm not here to make... We end up being friends outside of football. That's a byproduct. That's a bonus. Here now, we're at war. We need to win for our country. So that's why I didn't have to think twice to shout, JJ, stop taking the piss and let's win this game. So yeah, that was an easy thing to do.
Okay, another question is, are you still into football and in what capacity, if yes?
Yeah, I'm a fitness trainer and I work with a lot of football players, you know, all around Cheshire, Manchester area where I live. So I work with players off season, you know, to condition, sports and conditioning. I work with all different sports as well, not just football. So I work with netball girls, I work with swimmers, rugby players. So I'm a qualified sports conditioning coach. So when it comes to prevention of injuries, stuff like that, rehab after injury, that's where I come in.
Fascinating. Okay, now another question is, how did you feel when the Super Eagles didn't qualify for the World Cup in 2006, being a member of that team?
That will always be the lowest point of my career, because that was the one opportunity I had to appear at the World Cup. You know, I remember the game clearly in Kano when we were struggling to overcome that Angolan team. We drew 1-1 in that, needed to beat Angola to qualify for the Germany 2006 World Cup. So that still remains the lowest point of my career. Never being able to appear at the World Cup. It was disappointing, but we blamed the NFA at the time for poor organization. We went to Angola for the first leg. When we played Angola over there in Angola with a poor team, poor squad, lots of players didn't turn up, and we all believed, we were arrogant enough to believe we would beat Angola at home in Kano. Why they moved the game to Kano, I still wouldn't understand. We played all our other games in Abuja, 100% record in Abuja. We won every single game in Abuja. Why take it to Kano? But, you know, these are things we need to learn off our mistakes. And it happened. But I was really disappointed at the time. And hopefully Nigeria never makes similar mistakes going forward.
Okay, last question. Which do you think an African team will win the World Cup anytime soon?
I can't see it happening. I think the organization and I just can't see. I think the Europeans and the South Americans are way ahead of us in terms of organization, quality, determination, everything that it takes to be a world champion. I don't think any African team has that at the moment, because when you look at African teams in the World Cup in particular, it doesn't take long before one defender gets a silly red card or the lapse in concentration, they concede.
Yeah, true.
So it's always one of them where we lack that quality when it comes to the big stage and the latter stages of the World Cup. Morocco did well, but we see when it came to when the crunch time, they fell away as well. So I don't think in our lifetime we're going to see an African country win the World Cup, unfortunately.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your time, sir. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully wish you a fantastic 2024. and your family in good health.
All right.
Wishing your family in good health this
Have
period.
the best as well. Thank you.
All right, take care, sir.
Bye.
So it's been a pleasure talking with Mr. George Abbey, and we've come to the end of this 4th episode of the AFCON series. And hopefully, we'll be having another guest one of these days, and you'll be notified through my stories. No real announcement per se for that. I think it's better this way, spontaneous. There's no official kind of thing around it. It's just a conversation. So thank you for everybody who's been on this live, and hopefully we all have a fantastic day today, and we'll catch up sometime when we have a guest for our next episode. Take care, everybody.